Bobby and Grace here to give you our Week 12 recap. And first thing I got to say is, how about those UCF Knights taking care of business against Cincinnati? A lot of people thought they might trip up and not handle the stage well, but they definitely came ready to play and put on a pretty impressive showing. College football rankings has them now ninth, ahead of Ohio State. So I was pretty impressed. I didn't necessarily expect that. I thought it'd be closer, but impressive win by the Knights, and definitely interesting storyline for the college football playoff and all that. But next just had Alabama, although they were tied at the half. I don't think to make too much of that. They pulled away easily, but I think what it does show me is that somebody in the SEC needs to run the triple option, because if Citadel could stay with Alabama for a half, what could a team that actually has legit players do running the triple option? Not to mention, a team like Mississippi State, maybe they've got a really good defense, but they can't score. But the triple option is so hard to defend. Put a few good athletes in there, and I think it might make the SEC harder, because if every team has to play the triple option, it just makes an effort. It makes an impact on the conference. So, but Alabama took care of business. Didn't look too much there, but surprising first half. Clemson takes care of Duke. That didn't seem to be much of a game. I expected a little bit more out of Duke, but Clemson didn't even hold them to a touchdown. Clemson seems to be running all cylinders at this point. Okay, this is my overrated win of the week. Number 3, Notre Dame beating Syracuse. Okay, yes, they won 36-3. Playing at Yankee Stadium and everything, but Eric Dungy, the starting quarterback for Syracuse, went down with 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and that's significant. I'm not saying it wasn't a good win for Notre Dame, but they keep saying, oh, their offense didn't show up. Well, Eric Dungy's a pretty good quarterback, and he was taken out. So I'm not saying I'm not impressed by what Notre Dame did, but I just think people don't need to inflate it so much because the quarterback's injury. Michigan kind of squeaks by Indiana. Indiana's kind of they're not a great team, they're not a good team, but they're tough. They play people decent, and so I give Michigan a little grace there. But performances like that, when you think about going into maybe an Alabama or something in the college football playoff, they've got to improve their offense. I think if they could go pound for pound with Alabama's defense, okay, but Alabama's offense is, if they match up well with Alabama's defense, okay, but Alabama's offense is so much better than Michigan's offense that I just don't think it would be a close game. So, but Michigan took care of business. That was good. Oklahoma, number 6, gave up 40 points to Kansas. Man, this defense is not looking good. I mean, the offense is dynamic, but this defense for Oklahoma is anemic. I don't know what to say other than they've got to improve if they want any chance to make the playoff. But they've still got a lot of good games coming up. They could make the playoff if they went out. Washington State. Wow. Was it a 55-point first half? That is unbelievable against Arizona. I know Arizona's not that good, but that's still impressive no matter who you are. 55 points and a half is pretty incredible. Gardner Minshew's got that team really rolling. I think this week's Apple Cup, man, a huge game. If they can win that game, make a statement, if they can win it decisively, I think you have to give them consideration in the college football playoff. West Virginia trips up to Oklahoma State. I think this was one Josh, called. Oklahoma State seems like a good team. They just can't put it together consistently, and they got the best of West Virginia. So bye-bye to your college football hopes there, West Virginia. But they're still a fun team to watch. Ohio State, number 10, squeaking by Maryland. I called this. I said this game would be closer. This is a solid Maryland team that is fighting because, all the struggles with their coach and all that stuff and the player stuff. This, Maryland, you just feel for them after they're coming that close. The quarterback, the guy was wide open, and it was another bad throw. But Ohio State kind of just does not seem to be playoff material at this point. I think that showed that by putting UCF ahead of them in the college football playoff. As far as other games, number 17 Kentucky didn't look that impressive over Middle Tennessee, only beating them by about 11 points. It seems like Kentucky's kind of a little bit on a downward spiral towards the end of the season, but still having a great season for Kentucky. I was wrong about Iowa State beating Texas. Texas bounced back. They're now 8-3. They won over Iowa State 24-10. Good win for Texas. Seemed to be closing out the season strong after they had a couple road bumps there towards the last part of the season. And who would have saw number 20 Boston College getting beat by Florida State? Give Willie Taggart credit. Week 1, week 2, week 3, people were about to jump off board the Florida State train and Willie Taggart, but I think he's getting them back there. You can't expect a first-year coach. Look at Scott Frost too at Nebraska. Horrible beginning, but starting to see signs of turning a new leaf. I think that's happening at Florida State. Give Willie Taggart credit for sticking it in there and getting his players to believe. Beat a pretty good Boston College team. They're at 5-6. They got one more game. I think if they can beat Florida, they could go to a bowl game. That would be huge for their first season. Let's not forget, it's hard. First season coaches, it's always very hard to turn around. I mean, Nick Saban's first year at Alabama, they lost to Louisiana Monroe, so it's not an easy thing. And Northwestern beats Minnesota, ranked. They will be representing the west part of the Big Ten, so that'll be a good matchup for Ohio State. For the winner of Ohio State, Michigan. And then Utah State took care of business, so they will have a big matchup with Boise State towards the end of the season. So it was an interesting week, and look forward to rivalry weekend this week. Bye.